If you're looking into buying Clip Studio Paint, you may be wondering, what's the difference between Pro and EX version, and which one should I buy? I'm here to answer that question. Hi, my name is Madam Berry, and I'm an artist that has used Clip Studio Paint for illustrations, stickers, product designs, and even apparel for the past year or so. First, let's take a look at the difference between the two versions. You can see a full list of functions between all versions here. You'll notice this list also contains a column for Clip Studio Debut. I couldn't find much information on the debut version, but I believe it's an earlier version of the program that's no longer available, so we'll be disregarding that as it's not available for purchase. The basic features of Clip Studio Pro and EX versions are the same. Both versions are capable of producing single-page illustrations using the highly versatile brush engine and other drawing tools. Both versions also have access to the asset store where you can download custom tools made by community members. Both Pro and EX also have the vector layer capability, which lets you edit your line art after you've drawn it and maintain the quality of your lines even when you upscale your artwork. Both versions will let you export single images in formats like JPEG, PNG, etc. And the tools and brushes that download with each program are the same, which means if you download the Pro version, you're going to get the same brush, pen, pencil, blending, etc. tools that you would when you download the EX version. So if all of this sounds so similar, what are the differences? Both versions also have access to the animation timeline, but here's where things begin to differ between the two programs. While Clip Studio Pro version has animation tools, your animations are limited to 24 total frames. Basically 24 drawings per animation. It doesn't differ the length of time your animation spans. The length of your animation can differ if you change the frames per second. At 24 frames per second, you have a 1 second long animation. At 12 frames per second, you have a 2 second long animation. At 1 frame per second, you can have a 24 second long animation, but it'll look like a slideshow. This capability can be useful for creating short animations like Twitch animated emotes. I'll link a tutorial by a friend of mine who's an emote artist. She's gone into great detail on how to use Clip Studio Paint Pro to make short animations for Twitch animated emotes. In Clip Studio EX version, however, that limitation has been removed and your animations can contain as many frames as you would like. This makes EX version useful if you're someone who would like to create animated short films or anything that would require more than just 12 frames. Both Clip Studio Pro and EX can export animations as GIFs, movies, image sequences, and animated PNGs. But EX also has the ability to export animation cells and exposure sheets for more high-level production techniques that I admittedly don't understand. Again, I lack the understanding to explain the nuance of this, but it seems like you can then import these cells and exposure sheets into other production animation programs. The EX version links to a Toei animation program. I'm not an animator, I don't understand what any of this means, but it seems like if you would like to go into further production with your animations, then Clip Studio EX version would be the way to go. The second main difference between Pro and EX is the ability to create multi-page files, which is a capability only present in EX. This feature is useful for a webtoon, comic, or graphic novel artist, as it means you can organize your comic pages in one file. Using the Page Manager, you can quickly flip through your story's pages, drag and drop to reorganize them, and merge pages into a 2-page spread. The Story Editor is another feature only available in EX that's also useful for comic artists. This lets you outline the script of your story within the program, and even drag and drop text elements in case you want to change the order of events. This feature also inserts text as text objects into your canvas, so you can organize them into panels and create word balloons around them. So this acts as a 2-in-1 text editor and speech balloon editor kind of deal. As a comic-centric program, Clip Studio EX version is able to import, export, and print multi-page files, including PDFs, EPUB format, and Kindle format. If you're looking for how to export a multi-page PDF directly from Clip Studio Paint, it can only be done in EX version. An interesting feature only available in EX is the ability to set up teamwork on a multi-page file. This gives multiple people the ability to work on the same file as long as they're working on different pages. For instance, a comic team might have an artist who handles line work, a colorist, and a lighting or effects artist. These three people now have the ability to work on the comic at the same time, increasing team productivity. So instead of having to save the file and then upload a version of it to the cloud or something to hand off to your line artist, you'll be able to be working on page 10 of your artwork while the line artist is working on page art. While the line artist is working on page 6, the colorist is working on page 7, and the effects artist is working on page 8. This also prevents any sort of errors happening by different people opening the same project at the same time and then saving different versions of it at the same time, which gets really weird. As an ex-game dev, version control can get real funky when you have multiple people working on the same project, so this prevents that sort of thing from becoming a problem. Clip Studio Pro and EX both have access to 3D tools, however there are a few additional features in EX that can make certain things way easier. Firstly, EX adds a all sides view palette, a window that displays the top, front, side, and rotatable versions of your 3D model scene. You can access this feature via Window All Sides View. This ability to view multiple angles at once can be really useful for setting up a camera angle and then modifying your models within the scene without changing the main camera angle. If you're somebody who's worked in 3D software like Maya or Blender, you may already be familiar with this sort of layout. Frankly, I wish I knew about this way earlier, because there are so many times when I wish I could have used this, and it was there for me the whole time. It's so nice when I have a camera angle worked out. I'm like, I love this camera angle, but I need to be able to rotate this angle so that I can see something to move it a bit better. Like, I can't move the thing the way I want and still keep the camera angle that I like, but with this feature, I can. One other thing EX version can do with 3D models, as well as 2D images like photographs, is convert them into lines and screen tones. If you're a comic artist, drawing the same scene over and over from different angles for different panels can be incredibly time-consuming. But with this feature, you can set up a scene in 3D, for instance a classroom, and then convert it into lines and screen tones in order to speed up production time. I've actually used this feature a few times for complex backgrounds that I admittedly just didn't feel like drawing. I'm not the best at backgrounds, I'd like to get better at it, but I'm lazy. Some one-off features that I didn't feel like aligned anywhere. In 3D mode, you can create a foil layer that's only available in Clip Studio EX version. So you can view your 3D models with metallic effects. I'm not really sure what the use case for this is, and I haven't actually figured out how to use it. Another feature related to screen tones is that you can remove screen tones in Clip Studio EX. This seems like an experimental or beta feature. It uses an algorithm similar to the Colorize algorithm. It seems to use an algorithm to determine where screen tones are versus your line art, and it will remove those screen tones. So if you have an image with screen tones baked into the same layer as the line art, and you just want the line art, you can use this feature to remove those screen tones. In conclusion, which version of Clip Studio Paint is right for you? Well, that depends. Are you just using Clip Studio to draw and paint single illustrations or short comic strips that are only one page or so in length? Do you not really need animation features, or if so, do you only need very short animations? Then you probably don't need EX, and the features in Pro will be enough for your uses. On the other hand, do you intend to produce complex animation longer than 1 or 2 seconds? Or are you making a webtoon or other comic where you need organization tools to manage your pages and script? If so, the features in EX might be highly useful or even necessary to you. You can always upgrade from Pro to EX, so if you're just thinking about getting your feet wet in Clip Studio, then you can start with Pro and safely have the knowledge that you'll be able to upgrade later if you need to. I hope this breakdown was useful. If you're just getting started with Clip Studio, you can learn everything that you need to get started in this video right here. Till next time, take care.